If you currently own a home or are thinking about buying one at the Jersey Shore, you're probably wondering, what the heck is going to happen in 2022? In this video, I'm going to give you my predictions and back it up with exactly why I think what I think is going to happen. Hey there, Nick Deckard here, your local real estate agent in Ocean City, New Jersey, back with another video. If this is your first time, welcome to the channel. Definitely make sure that you hit subscribe down below and turn on that notification bell so that you're the first to know exactly what is happening in the market here in Ocean City. So let's dive right in. There are three main factors that are going to impact and drive the market no matter when we are talking about. Those three are interest rates, supply, and demand. Let's take them one at a time. So with interest rates, in 2022, this is not an assumption, this is not a guess, interest rates will increase. Now the line in the betting markets is that the interest rates will rise, not one, not two, but 3 times in 2022. And whether you're a sports person or not, usually Vegas wins. Usually they are right on the money, if not very, very close to it. So I would fully expect not only that rates will rise early in 2022, but also throughout. If you've been paying any attention to the news, you'll know that the Fed has been winding down their monetary policy and they plan to accelerate that. And hopefully, as of a week ago, will be done by March of 2022. So with interest rates expected to go up, let's talk about supply. I do not expect supply to go up drastically. It's been consistently decreasing over the last 2 months to the point where we are now down about 20%. Inventory is really bottoming out here and there's not a whole lot of room for a bright future. And let's talk about why that is. So second homeowners are coming down more in the off season than they ever were before. When I grew up here, the streets were a ghost town in the winter. Really, post-October, it was dead quiet. And not only that, but more people are moving here full-time. That's not only new buyers, but folks who own a second home. Over the pandemic and over the course of the COVID life that we've adjusted to, people have made the decision that being here full-time is worthwhile, whether that's because their jobs have gone remote or they're just okay with the commute. Again, we're only a few hours away from Philly, New York, Baltimore, DC. For some people, it is actually manageable and it's worth making that trade-off. So our year-round population has increased. And yes, some owners may decide to cash out, but with rising seasonal weekly rental rates and also rising yearly rental rates, folks who own a home here have a very, very solid investment, right? Whether they bought 2 years ago or 20 years ago, their investment has become a cash cow. So it's really going to take the need or desire for a substantial sum of money for them to be willing to cash out. So once again, I do not expect supply to increase drastically. Yes, it will pick up a bit when we come to February, March timeframe, but I think we're probably going to stay under 300 total properties available at any given point in time. And last but not least, let's talk about demand. So everybody and their mother loves to go to the beach, right? Whether you've been coming here your whole life with your parents, with your grandparents, with your cousins, Ocean City has such a powerful brand, and the nostalgia impact that we have here keeps people coming back. So as the population grows on the whole in the tri-state area, we're not making more land, right? We've developed the island nearly as much as it possibly can be. So there's only so much room. And as demand continues to grow, people will continue to want to come to the beach. And as I mentioned before, with rising rental rates, it's becoming a little bit more questionable to come down here for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. It has a lot of year after year and generational renters who have come here for their vacations. It's making them question, is it worth buying our own property here in town to use when we want, whether it's in the summer season, whether it's in the off season. And again, maybe this will make a good investment, not just for us, but for our family down the road. This is a key, and Ocean City has been a main way that a lot of families have built generational wealth, and that is not going to change. So I do not expect that demand will go down. As the price points have continued to rise steadily over the past 2 years, that demand has stayed roughly flat. I mean, there was an absolute craze, right, last spring, in spring of 2021. But with that said, I do not expect demand to change. So with rising interest rates, constrained supply, and steady, if not higher, demand, what is actually going to happen in 2022? I predict that by year end, at the end of 2022, that home prices will have risen another 10% on top of where they already are now. I am going to come back and sanity check this as well, just to see how close I was. Now, yes, interest rates are going to rise, but the financial strength of people buying in Ocean City is so high that I do not expect that to make much of a difference. There are still so many cash buyers, folks coming in with 25+% down. This is not another housing bubble like we saw in 2005, 2006. This is another animal entirely. So for the big question, should you buy or should you sell? For those of you thinking about buying, my recommendation is to buy now, before interest rates rise, before prices continue to rise. This is the most affordable time that I expect that we see for at least the next year. If you're thinking about selling, it's a little bit more complicated. I want you to ask yourself this. If you were to sell now, what would you do with your profits? Could you do whatever it is that your goals may be, whether that's moving down to Florida full time, whether that's buying another vacation home in the mountains? Does selling allow you to meet your goals? And don't get me wrong, this is an excellent time to sell. That is not rocket science. But what it comes down to is a personal decision. Is selling and whatever you would do with your profits outweigh your desire to spend time in Ocean City? Selling now bakes in your profits, right? There is always a risk that something crazy will happen, whether it is a natural disaster, whether it is a huge economic meltdown that could cause prices to correct. So by selling now, you avoid that. By selling now, you also potentially miss out on the continued gains as we move forward. So I'm going to ask you that again. Is selling now worth it for you? Only you can answer that question based on taking the profits from your sale and meeting your goals. So that wraps up my predictions for what we should expect with the housing market here in Ocean City in 2022. I hope you found this helpful. Again, if you haven't already, make sure that you give this video a like below. Hit the subscribe button because that tells YouTube that this content is something that folks enjoy and will make sure that more people see it. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, reach out below. My contact information is in the description, and I will see you on the next video.